WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
I can't believe I'm putting my voice to this.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Thank you for your irrelevant opinion.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon.
The first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say. I'm a broadcast journalist. I have a right to my opinion.
Oh, son of a...
I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even in commentary.
There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon here with you, back alongside the other half of the dynamic duo, back up from the Mid-South. And, yeah, I don't even know what kind of joke I want to make there.
It's good to be
Look,
back.
It'd also be good if I turned your microphone on. See, I was so working on that big introduction that don't even give me that look.
Get your act together, Fearon. It's good to be back. Hope everybody's having a good day today.
Yeah, definitely. Well, speaking of which, how was your trip down to Memphis? Did you see a lot of the?
Unfortunately, no. I'm not that good at flirting, so
You know. Though we did get to go to Graceland, which was a very fun experience. I did not know this, but apparently two of Elvis's favorite movies were Blazing Saddles and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And he also they gave you an interactive tour and they gave you an iPad, and it, like, with each room you went in, they had a little icon. You touched the button, it was his basement. He had a TV room, like a media room, and it was like 3 color TVs with 3 simultaneous shows. I think one was Johnny Carson, one was definitely Young Frankenstein, and one was I think it was Young Frankenstein, and one was Monty Python and the Holy Grail. But he said, you know,
So he was a big comedy buff. See,
oh yeah,
I'll have to go to. This is a lot of stuff. I'll have to correspond with my Elvis expert up this way. I'll give him a little bit of a shout. Rock and Ron over on the other side of the FM dial, if you know what I mean. That won't get me into too much trouble, I hope.
He's a very Elvis. I mean, it was very interesting to learn about him. His racquetball room. It's now been converted into basically a shrine. I mean, you walk into the racquetball room, the whole wall. It's got to be about, like, I don't know, double the height of the ceiling, and it's basically a room the size of the studio that we're sitting in, and it was wall to wall with records and Elvis's old wardrobe for the concerts. It was a very awe-inspiring sight.
Now, did you ask any questions about the Honky Tonk Man?
They didn't really have a tour guide.
They didn't really have a tour guide. Oh yeah, because it's all digital now, of course.
Darn your interaction, you darn kids. Yeah, that was a bad impression. But I also figured out he's also a huge Peter Sellers fan. So I'm guessing he likes the Pink Panther and stuff like that. Casino Royale.
No sign of Jerry Lawler, though? No, since you were in Memphis?
Unfortunately, no. Nor Chris Hardwick, because he grew up in that area. But
speaking of Lawler, though, some not so good news. I don't know if you heard about this or not.
I just read it now.
Jerry, that wonderful show prep. Jerry Lawler hospitalized. That's right. WWE Hall of Famer hospitalized in Memphis with diverticulitis.
Diverticulitis. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, because it's Paul Heyman said it like 500 times in past interviews, talking about his client, Brock Lesnar. It was a whole thing. Okay, you're giving me the death stare.
Yes, I am. Okay, with diverticulitis.
You correct my grammar all the time. I'm going to correct how you pronounce things.
I'm trying to come up with another example of how it would go the other way, and nothing's coming to mind at the moment.
Exactly.
For the moment. It's a potato type thing.
Read the story. I don't.
Depends on your localism. You know what? Maybe up in Canada, we say a diverticulitis, eh?
Well, that's not my problem there, sweet. Oh, that was Wisconsin.
Yeah, you need to go a little further north there, Hoser. Anyway.
5 golden toques.
We're past that season, Hosehead.
All right.
Yeah. See, it's a serious story, and you got me cracking jokes here.
I'm sorry.
No, Jerry Lawler hospitalized in Memphis with diverticulitis. His girlfriend revealing via social media. F4WOnline.com reporting that Lawler is expected to be released from the hospital this weekend and that he's on a heavy dose of antibiotics. Insert your own Z-Pack joke here.
Bottom line is get well soon there, Jerry. We can't wait to have you back on commentary.
Yeah.
Because at least he livens up like him and Cole, I agree with a lot of people on the fan page, especially Joseph Anthony, who has also complained a lot. JBL just should not be on commentary. He really shouldn't. I'd rather have him in a general manager position like he was on NXT. No commentary. It's just, ugh.
But he's having fun on Monday Night, Michael. No? Okay.
At that point, it's like that Jim Norton joke, smother him.
Oh, goodness. But no, I know we talk about all this stuff with Raw. Raw was it had a lot of people talking for two reasons. Kind of almost a 2014. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times kind of sense.
That was a tale of two cities. Very, very good reference there, my friend. Dickens would be proud.
What can I say? I know my Dickens.
Oh my.
The author. I don't know where you were going with that. But no, between Daniel Bryan making his return for the career-defining moment, where I have to admit, I didn't exactly buy into the swerve. I kind of knew where it was going because they had 5 or 6 different announcers saying, this could be the end of his career. Could it be possibly he's, doing everything but throwing out the word retirement? And you have that many people kind of pushing one way.
They were like Fonzie. He is going to... They can't say that word.
Exactly. There was a lot of that going on, so I thought, all right, how is it going to go? But Daniel Bryan, to his credit, he had the rather lifeless crowd in the palm of his hands.
Yep. That crowd was dead. It really was.
Yeah, wasn't a fan of the Raw crowd this past Monday night. We'll get into that in a little bit. Terrible. Well, I mean, not every crowd is going to be lively necessarily.
Where were they even?
They were in Washington, D.C. They were at the Verizon Center. Well, D.C.'s, they've had their moments, but they're not exactly a hotbed per se like a Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, Philly, Toronto. Yeah, there are certain crowds that tend to, but plus it's right in between Christmas and New Year's, so.
Yeah, that is why the ratings were not so.
Yeah, but they threw a lot of things out there. I mean, Edge and Christian making their return as guest hosts,
and they were the best guest hosts by far out of all of them they had.
Well, yeah, because they had the cutting edge peep show.
Well, not just that. I mean, they were even better than Jericho. I mean, they didn't need to make any tasteless jokes. They were just being silly. That's what happens when you put two best friends on the mic, just like you and me. It makes for great entertainment.
For the most part. Although...
What's that supposed to mean, Fearon?
Well, I'm saying that some of the things they did weren't entertaining, just as we aren't necessarily on all the time. Not everything that we hit here is a home run.
True.
We've had quite a few swinging bunts, for lack of a better term.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's bloody cold outside. I'm trying to get any kind of warm mentality that I can, and baseball was where I went, even though we're right in the midst of the football playoffs and basketball season and, well, in the beginning of lacrosse season, but not here in Philadelphia. I'm not going to give out about that anymore.
Shed a tear. Remember.
Yeah.
Remember
Shed a tear and pour one out for the Wings. Exactly. Somewhere, former co-host Richie Bleiweiss is, he's a little distraught. Sure, we'll get into that in a little bit. But yes, Daniel Bryan pulling the swerve, asking, "Is my career over?" No, and getting fired up, which I like that intensity in. That's the delivery that he had on that was brilliance. It drew the emotions. It did what wrestling is supposed to, what sports entertainment is supposed to do. Is it's supposed to play with your emotions. And
I think that's why they brought back the Authority. As much as people, and I'm not playing devil's advocate. Well, I guess I am, but I'm not really one for bringing back the Authority either. If it were up to me, I would have wrestlers making the storylines and not have the corrupt general managers. They've been doing that for the past couple of years.
They've been doing that since Austin McMahon, and that was, well, we're going into 17 years ago.
Yeah, but like back in 2007, 2008, you didn't have a lot of... You basically had the Teddy Long manager. You'd have the
Wasn't Vicky still around then, or was she... Well, yeah, because she had the whole thing with Edge at that point, and Edge was utilizing her power
Okay, 2006 then. DX and McMahon. Darn it! Ah.
I'm telling you, this has been...
Dag nabbit!
We are entering year 17 of the McMahon-Helmsley regime. No, that's kind of what it felt like. For those who missed Raw on Monday, Edge and Christian having the Cutting Edge Peep Show, which that name does totally reek of awesomeness, just saying.
Yeah.
And they interviewed Seth Rollins along with the J&J Security, Noble and Mercury, and
I was speaking of J&J Security because they had Edge and Christian. The Authority respected the fact that Edge and Christian were hosting SmackDown, but they sent out Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury. And my friend Dan was watching the show with me. He doesn't watch wrestling that much, but when he does, he sits down and enjoys it. When Jamie Noble started talking, that high-pitched Southern accent, my friend Danny bursts out laughing and goes, "He sounds exactly like his height would imagine. Like his height matches his voice."
Oh gosh, so he feeds into what Vince McMahon feels. He thinks bigger is better, larger than life is the way to go. Great Khali and Vladimir Kozlov and the Big Show in a triple threat for the title.
No, that's not where he was going.
No, that wasn't where he was going with that?
His voice matches his height because Jamie Noble is short and he has a high-pitched voice, like a munchkin.
Kind of like you?
Pretty much.
That is not fair.
That's not fair at all.
No, I'm not going to pull that up.
You better not. I will
Maybe in the second segment.
No. No.
But anyway, we had ourselves a good old-fashioned Monday Night Raw hostage situation where, Seth Rollins using the Money in the Bank briefcase. He takes a shot at Christian in the gut and then proceeds to have the Big Show hold Edge down, basically to have Edge be curb stomped onto the briefcase, or at least that was the threat that was going on. That was where the John Woo type standoff went, as John Cena was called out to give Seth Rollins what he wanted, which was to bring the Authority back.
Now, I feel like that could have been done in a better way. First of all, to not be in D.C. because the crowd probably would have been dead for my scenario, too. Give it a couple more weeks. Wait until...
Well, it's your scenario, so of course... Sorry, go on.
You can't let me have a serious moment for once.
Now you know how I feel. Go on.
Touché. Picture it 2 weeks, like a couple, or not 2 weeks, but a couple of weeks, like the night after the Royal Rumble. Let's say John Cena wins the title. He's having the night of his life, having a great time, and then Rollins just goes on a tangent in the ring. He's very upset, very distraught, and he motions for somebody backstage, and they bring out Nikki Bella. Now, let's put it this way. It would be a lot better to use her than to use Edge.
As far as a sympathetic figure, is that... I see where you're going with that, and
he goes, Cena, if you ever want your girlfriend to walk again, because everybody and their mother, at least that pays attention to the storylines and stuff like that, knows that John Cena and Nikki Bella are going out.
Here's the problem with that, though. Nikki Bella is someone whom you boo. John Cena is someone who WWE hopes you would cheer. That's why they're kind of keeping, whenever it has to be acknowledged, they acknowledge it, and they, of course, utilize it to no end on Total Divas, which I believe the season premieres tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah, Paige is on. I'm probably going to have to give that a watch. Anyway,
well, I don't know. I may have something else in mind, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, that depends on whether I watch it live or watch the replay.
What's it going to be on? Is it going to be on syndicated pay-per-view or?
Well, we'll get into that in a little bit. I have that here along with We have no structure to the show.
Not at all.
We just kind of move things as we see fit. It is like a game of Tetris. We just fit pieces in wherever they go.
Yep. Pretty much.
And with that, I completely lost my train of thought. Blast it, Lucas.
We were talking about Nikki Bella.
Nikki Bella, that's right. Yeah, she is one to be booed, and WWE doesn't like to. They don't like to acknowledge on camera the way that they have with Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. Although now that she's gone bad, I guess they kind of have a sticky situation. But they figure, he's been off TV for the last few months. Why not? Let's kind of roll with it. So they'll have to figure that out. But when Brie was a sympathetic figure as well, that worked out. Now, I don't know what you do with the two of them. And that's where it kind of gets murky of taking off-screen relationships and putting them on screen.
Why not? They do it on Total Divas all the time. They're breaking the fourth wall of sports entertainment.
You need some water?
Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah, okay. You know what? You go get some water. We'll go take care of some business. We'll come back. Lots of news regarding TNA signing and preparations for the Destination America tapings that are coming up this coming week, including the live broadcast this Wednesday, on the first on Destination America. The winds of change are definitely a-blowing. And we'll keep you up with the changes, or at least watch for the changes and try to keep up here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Santa can't drink milk. It'd get all over his phony beard.
Bobby, I think it's going a little too far.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
Knock it off right now.
Prime time show.
Here's the season to be swerved. Boing.
Bobby Heenan doing what Bobby Heenan does best. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Lucas the intern. Yeah, in case you missed it last week, which obviously you did because you were in Memphis. But as kind of a little homage to the Christmas season, I pulled up an old clip from Christmas Day '89 of WWF Primetime Wrestling and a rather hysterical bit between Bobby the Brain Heenan, Rowdy Roddy Piper, and Gorilla Monsoon.
God.
Yeah, of Heenan attempting to tell kids everywhere that Santa is a phony, and Piper and Monsoon chiding him for it. It was a hysterical bit. You definitely go back and listen to that. That was just classic Bobby Heenan from about a quarter of a century ago now.
25 years.
Yeah. Crazy stuff.
Crocky.
All right, so we've got quite a bit to talk about. The Ascension. Your take on their debut at the big time.
Oh, I didn't get to finish.
Oh, you didn't get the chance. Okay.
I'm hearing though. I'm guessing they're basically copying the Road Warriors for their.
I have it here in my notes. They made their WWE main roster debut looking like a knockoff cross between the Road Warriors and the Powers of Pain. It's pretty blatant, and it got to the point where I think even on SmackDown they acknowledged. They're basically acknowledging that they look like the cross between the Road Warriors and the Powers of Pain, just not as muscly.
I like their Illuminati gimmick a little better. I think that's what they were going with for NXT.
But they tweak things when they get to the main roster, and
because
that usually means Vince gets his hands on it, and not so good things happen. But he's not out of touch. No. He's not out of touch.
Oh, he's only 69 years old. He's not.
Yeah, he's 69 years old, absolutely, but he is not out of touch.
Yeah.
Or so he'll tell you.
He wouldn't be out of touch if this was the 80s.
Was it acceptable in the 80s?
It was acceptable.
No, get the phone. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Do some work, intern. All right. While he's taking care of that, let me tell you. Speaking of Raw, about the location for the final Raw before WrestleMania 31 revealed. How about them apples? The WWE announcing this week that the go-home Monday Night Raw leading up to WrestleMania 31 will be March 23rd in Los Angeles, California, at the Staples Center.
That is a very, very interesting. I mean, they are in Silicon Valley, San Francisco. So,
yeah, it's down the road, and I guess since they're not getting SummerSlam for the 8th year in a row, I guess that's okay.
I mean, yeah, it's a good alternative. At least they're getting something.
Yeah, unlike the Garden, which I forget where I saw it.
In Boston or Madison?
No, Madison Square Garden.
They got a house show a couple of weeks ago.
I know, but as far as televised events, they haven't gotten very many over the last few years.
Which is sort of, you think as a wrestling fan, it's a little bit sacrilegious.
Well, I think part of it is the building is what got me on this anyway. Oh, I think I saw in a Facebook group post somebody had asked about that, and it got me to kind of researching what exactly, or how long has it been since they've had either a Raw or a SmackDown or a pay-per-view.
Well, they're not going to do a pay-per-view anymore because they want to do the Barclays Center. I don't know why I did that with Vince McMahon. I don't know what he has to do with that, but
well, he is the head honcho.
True. I mean, why would you not have any? Besides a house show, why wouldn't you have anything televised at the Garden? That's one of the reasons you got it mainstream, was you had it at the Garden. That's where you had a lot of your wrestling shows. Even the Spectrum was a part of, the.
Yeah, but I mean, even when the Spectrum was standing, the last time that WWF held, well, first of all, the last time they had a pay-per-view in the Spectrum was when it was the WWF, but,
Sure.
Oh gosh, I want to say their last pay-per-view there was the 95 King of the Ring.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to tell a story about that, or have you told that story already?
Which story? There are a few King of the Ring 95
stories. The Undertaker story.
Oh, from the day before?
Yeah.
Oh, God, you're really going to have me bring that? I don't know if I brought this up on the air or not. The meet and greet that I had with, I probably mentioned it when Paul Bearer passed, because that was the one time that I met Paul Bearer. But
I really like
for those who've missed the story, because I forget some of the stories that I tell in the 270 some odd episodes I've done now. The day before the 95 King of the Ring, The Undertaker and Paul Bearer were doing an appearance at the old 94th Aero Squadron on Red Lion Road in Northeast Philadelphia, which eventually became, I think, Flat Spin Nightclub, and I don't know what the heck it is now. That shows you how long ago it was. But me being the little mark that I was back then, I show up to this. Keep in mind, I was 13, I think. But I show up to this event, and I'm dressed as closely as I can to The Undertaker. You would have thought it was Halloween in late June of 95, as I'm there with a long black coat, got the hat over top, the long black wig, because even as grown out as my hair is now, it's just curling right back into itself, because I'm as nappy as Stevie Wonder was singing about in I Wish back in 77, the year I was doing for Chart Toppers. That's why it's fresh on my mind. But yeah, no, keep it clean.
No, seriously, I love this story.
Okay. So yes, there I am showing up dressed as The Undertaker to meet Paul Bearer and The Undertaker, and I have them sign a little poster that I'd gotten from inside my WWF magazine at the time. But Taker takes a look at me and he says, "I may need you tomorrow night."
Yes.
And me being the opportunistic one that I was like, all right, sign me up. How do I get on board with this? But
I just love the story. I'm sorry.
It was, alas, it was not to be, but I did show up anyway, dressed as Taker, to the King of the Ring event the next night. My dad was such a sport about that. God rest his soul.
I just love that story because it's something I would have done.
And needless to say, I was rather crushed when. Well, I mean, I had two favorites going into that pay-per-view, and both of them were knocked out in the first round.
Who was the other one? Luger?
No, Luger wasn't it. Shawn Michaels.
Oh, Shawn Michaels. Okay.
He fought Kama, the Supreme Fighting Machine, to a 15-minute time limit draw.
So then why was he knocked out of the...
Well, in a draw, neither man advances.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, both Shawn Michaels and Kama were eliminated from the tournament because they hit a time limit draw. And Kama would go on to become the Godfather.
Ah.
He would trade in his Supreme Fighting for Supreme Pimpin'.
Wasn't he also Papa Shango?
He was the Shango Tango. Yes, the many gimmicks of Charles Wright. We'll have to get into that.
He was also a Monster Factory alumni.
Yes, he was. And speaking of the Monster Factory, very good with your segue there. Now, you've heard me bang on about the Monster Factory for a little over a year now, and you've heard Lucas bang on about it for almost as long. Actually, yeah, probably about the same time. But tonight, you can see some of the inner workings. That's right. The Monster Factory in Paulsboro, New Jersey will be opening its doors to the public tonight from 6 to 9 p.m. It's a public workout and question and answer session. It's open to prospective students, birthday party or fundraiser inquiries, and or those just who want to see what the hype about the Monster Factory is all about. Doors open from 5 to 5:45 for the Monster Factory open house, just because once you get in at 6, you're pretty much sitting in to check out everything. Yeah. And that's at 541 Mantua Avenue in Paulsboro, New Jersey. You can check out all the information at monsterfactory.org. And 3 weeks from tonight is their next Monster Factory card, which I'm sure we'll have more information about in the upcoming weeks once they get past this open house. I know you're looking forward to it because you would be one of those prospective students down the road.
Oh, yeah. The one thing I want to know about the 24th card is, because...
What did I just say about information will be available later? Oh, you're just speculating.
I'm speculating because I think we mentioned that Luis the Punisher Martinez, the current heavyweight champion, he's going for a tryout at NXT. Does that mean that they're going to put the title up for grabs for any... Like, are they going to vacate the title? That's just my one question going into this card on the 24th.
Well, you're already strapping the rocket to him and shipping him down to Winter Park, Florida. It's a tryout. I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, you could have a tryout with the Monster Factory and it may not.
Well, I have no doubt Luis is going to make NXT. He's got the talent for it. Come on, he's got a tremendous talent.
And he's got the size, which he's got that going for him.
Like, are you going to doubt the Punisher? I'm certainly not.
Well, of course not. He's your boy.
Exactly.
Not saying that I don't like him. I'm just saying, like, you are all about that. You know what? I'm just gonna stop before I make a fool of myself here.
I think that's best. All
right. You know what we'll do? We'll go to the phones because Ed from Northeast Philly's been hanging on. We'll take care of him before we take care of our second bit of business. Ed, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Good afternoon. We have WWE Super Show coming in a couple of weeks to Sunbank Center in Trenton.
Yes, that's. I want to say it's the same weekend as the Royal Rumble.
Friday before, actually.
Oh, the Friday before.
Weekend. It seems like everybody wants a piece of that weekend.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Royal Rumble, even though it's one of 12 pay-per-views now, it's still one of the original. It's the third longest running WWE pay-per-view. So there's a lot of prestige with that, and for a lot of people, myself included, and I know some people are going to cry blasphemy at this the minute I say it, but I tend to favor the Rumble even over WrestleMania. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun.
No, one dramatic sting is enough. We've been over this. I'm sorry, Ed. Go on. Mind my intern.
And you mentioned Madison Square Garden. They have Road to WrestleMania on February 27th.
Okay. So it's another house show. I'm trying to think. The last time they've had a pay-per-view at Madison Square Garden, you got to go back to, a little over 3 years ago to Survivor Series 2011. The Rock coming out of retirement.
I think that's a super show. Everybody might be down there.
Oh, yeah, no, it'll probably be a combined card. They won't do the split card for the guard. I mean, they do that a lot, but as far as bringing the cameras in, I don't know, maybe it's because the seats are so tiny. I don't know. That's one of the complaints that I've gotten about Madison Square Garden is because it's so archaic as far as its design. The seats and the spacing between the seats, it's very... You get very close with your next seat neighbor, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know because I've not been to to Madison Square Garden. I've not seen an event there. I need to fix that apparently. Maybe in February. Who knows?
Eric Bischoff and Y2J are going to be in town that weekend too, on Columbus Boulevard at Dave & Buster's.
Oh yeah, and Bruce Pritchard's going to be a part of that as well. That's yeah. That's right. Jericho's, I think, moderating a kind of Monday Night War debate between Eric Bischoff and Bruce Pritchard, and I believe that's on Royal Rumble Sunday at 12 noon at the, as you said, the Dave & Buster's on Columbus Boulevard in Philadelphia. I believe that's being run by RF Video.
Interesting.
Yeah. So for more info on that, I would say.
I'm not sure. I didn't look at the whole thing.
Oh, no, that's fine. I know Rob who runs it, and he's been heavily promoting it. So yeah, he's that has his fingerprints on it.
Actually, Jericho pimped it on Instagram too.
Jericho pimped it also?
Yeah, he's going to have Talk is Jericho with Bischoff and Bruce Pritchard, and then that's going to be. He said that's going to be a preview for what happens on Royal Rumble weekend at Dave & Buster's and hashtag Philadelphia Dave & Buster's.
Gotcha. Okay, so Jericho's promoting the heck out of it. Gosh, there are so many different things going on because you've got that, you've got the house show in Trenton, you've got JR's 2 shows. We had him on the program a couple weeks ago.
Seth Rollins is in the area too.
Oh, Seth Rollins is doing an autograph signing? I didn't even know about that.
I think that's in Voorhees.
Over in probably at the skate zone. All right. Well, yeah, I'm sure I can dig that. This is the first I'm hearing about it, though. So yeah, there's so much going on. It's crazy that weekend, and we're only
all the local indies
3 weeks away. Yeah. Yeah. Plus the factories that Saturday night before the Rumble. Yeah.
We have a booked weekend.
Yeah. I'm going to have to introduce you to Monster Energy at the Monster Factory because you're going to need it.
No Monster Energy drinks. No. I'll take a regular.
Would you rather have Red Bull?
I'll take a cherry Coke, thank you. Rather not have any energy drinks. Good old caffeine, the American way.
And that's about it.
All right. Thanks so much, Ed, for the call. If I could only describe what's going on here in the studio, it's some kind of craziness. All right. We still have the TNA stuff to get into. We've got a big event that's going on tonight into tomorrow that we've got to talk about. I know that Jim Ross talked about it a little bit ago. I'll give you more details about that. Also, gimmicks galore. We'll get into that. I've got another Kevin Nash update. Plus, today in wrestling history on the other side, also some notable birthdays. Fairly notable birthdays. And I know this is totally behind the scenes, but I'm going to kind of poke a little hole in the fourth wall. I did not get clearance on what I was trying to do with one of those birthdays. Yeah, that's all right. The last thing I'm going to do is aggravate the boss as he's going away.
An instrumental?
No, it's okay though.
Darn.
That's all right. Well, maybe I'll put it in post-production. Who knows?
Okay.
Crazier things have happened. Anyway, we'll come back. We've got all that plus the TNA stuff to talk about. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, January 3. On this date in 2000, WCW Monday Nitro aired live from Greenville, South Carolina. In the main event, Crowbar and David Flair defeated Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner to win the WCW Tag Team Championship. On this date in 2002, WWF SmackDown aired live from Washington, D.C. In the main event, The Rock pinned Booker T. On this date in 2005, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Uniondale, New York. In the main event, Randy Orton pinned Triple H. On this date in 2011, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Phoenix, Arizona. In the main event, Randy Orton defeated Sheamus and Wade Barrett in a triple threat steel cage match. This has been Today in Wrestling History, January 3. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Lucas the intern. Getting ready for what I'm hoping will be an awesome 2015.
I hope so too, Fearon. I hope so too.
Yeah, first show of the new year.
Yeah.
How about that? Got a lot of fun things coming up, including I think later this year actually will mark the anniversary to the day of my taking over as host of this fine program.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later. That's probably about 9 or 10 weeks down the line, something like that.
Do you mind if I do the TNA news?
Go right ahead.
Thanks.
It sounds like it's right up your alley.
Oh, that's a shot. Okay. Okay. Well,
I can't even put into words what I just saw. I cannot believe what I just saw.
TNA
like the Kirk Gibson home run.
Yeah, TNA announces a number of signings because of many TNA's deals have expired since their last taping. TNA. That sounded like a weird Hawaiian.
Do you want to say Impact Wrestling?
Yeah,
Would that be easier?
Impact Wrestling announced a few re-signings of talent, including Abyss, Ethan Carter III, Jesse Goddard's,
Yeah.
Madison Rain, Kenneth, Mr. Anderson, and officially thanks to TNA's press release on Tuesday, Kurt Angle. They also moved unsigned wrestlers to the alumni section while bringing a few notable names back. They moved Brittany, Shark Boy.
You don't remember Shark Boy?
No, I think it's a good thing that I don't.
He was a pretty popular character, although I think his popularity peaked when he was Stone Cold Shark Boy. Oh, gosh. This will have to be an off-the-air educate the interns.
No, it does not have to be an off-the-air.
No, just because it's a long story and video is involved, and I can't pull up video while we're live on the air.
Okay. Rampage Jackson, Devin, and former TNA heavyweight champion Bully Ray to the alumni section.
Devin?
Devon. No, Devon, sorry.
See, and you get on me about the diverticulitis, see?
Diverticulitis.
Devon, see? It goes back.
Devon. It's Devon. You messed up. Wow. Featured match and theme show announced for Impact tapings. TNA announced that Matt and Jeff Hardy will face Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards at the January 8th Impact Wrestling television taping in New York City. TNA also announced that the January 9th Impact taping will carry the Lockdown theme.
Yeah, that's pretty notable because usually they have Lockdown in the spring right around WrestleMania, and now they're not even having it as a pay-per-view. They're putting it right on the network, well, not the WWE network, but right on
Destination America.
Yeah, Destination America. Yeah, so that's pretty notable, and I guess it kind of makes you wonder, well, what are they going to do for pay-per-views in 2015? When is their next pay-per-view going to be? Are they still going to do them?
Well, it's just going to be just like Bound for Glory and Slammiversary, and that's it. 2 pay-per-views. That's all we're doing. If we
It worked for WWF in '87.
If we give away any more money, if we spend any more money, then McMahon will buy us out for sure. Okay, I'm just saying. That's the last thing I want.
I don't know about
Speaking
that.
as a very effeminate Dixie Carter.
This whole thing is embarrassing. It really is.
Yeah. You actually made sense this time, Vince. Oh, I'm gonna get.
He's in touch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's not out of touch. He's 69. Oh, goodness. Although, I think because of his age, I don't think he'll be staying up for this. Wrestlekingdom 9 going on tonight/tomorrow. The hyped Japanese pay-per-view Wrestlekingdom 9 airing tonight live at 2 a.m. Eastern.
Domo arigato, Japan Pro Wrestling.
Thank you, Trebek.
What do you think I was going to say, Mr. Roboto? Seriously.
Well, no, I mean, that was the same bit that Trebek used in WrestleMania 7 when interviewing Demolition and Master Fuji.
Master Fuji?
Yeah, go back and look at that. Well, that was Demolition 2. Well, I guess technically 2.5, as you had Smash and Crush. Axe was out of the picture by that point.
Wow.
Yeah, that time period. You can check it out on OSW Review also. Well, all right, we'll get into that in a second. Wrestle Kingdom 9. There's also a replay tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's available via satellite on the Dish Network and DirecTV. On all cable systems in the U.S., it's available for all my folks and friends up there in Canada, through Bell TV, Rogers, Shaw, and SaskTel. And it's available worldwide with the exception of Japan on the Flips app, FLIPPS.
Does that cost money to download?
I believe so. I haven't looked into it personally, but names you'll recognize on the card include the Young Bucks. They'll be challenging for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship as part of a four-way match.
Oh, wow. So are they still with the Bullet Club?
Oh, the Bullet Club will be heavily in action on this pay-per-view tonight. Yes.
AJ Styles will be a part of this as well, or?
AJ Styles is in a singles match, yep.
Luke Gallows?
Doc Gallows, yes, or Luke Gallows, is defending one half of the IWGP Tag Team Championship.
You can do that in a singles match now?
Well, no, I mean he is the notable name of the partner who I'm having enough trouble pronouncing English, and you think I'm going to try to pronounce Japanese names?
Good point.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Jeff Jarrett is part of a six-man tag team match representing the Bullet Club.
Jeff Jarrett?
Jeff Jarrett. JEFFJARRETT. Double J, Jeff Jarrett. Gleam.
I did not. I thought, so I guess Global Force Wrestling would be with...
GFW is presenting Wrestle Kingdom 9, which... I don't know, that's probably, if you saw that thing that Danny Cage had posted up, the owner of the Monster Factory, about Bud Light not being a football league.
Yeah, I didn't understand what he meant by that.
Well, this is what he meant. He's basically saying that GFW is supposed to be a wrestling promotion, but it is promoting another wrestling promotion. So
okay.
That'd be like kind of saying that, the instead of the NFL, it's, the NFL or
Bud Light.
Yeah, the NFL presents Bud Light as opposed to, the NFL sponsored by Bud Light.
Right, okay.
So they're basically saying that the sponsor is the actual federation in this case.
Plus, I usually read the other. It wasn't that I wasn't paying attention, Mr. Cage. It's the fact that I read most of my notifications before I go to bed, so I'm half asleep. Just thought I had to clarify that so it doesn't yell at me at the open house today.
Are you kidding? He's too busy prepping and getting things done.
You're right. He doesn't listen to our show.
Well, no. I mean, usually on that's why we haven't had any Monster Factory guests and whatnot on this show, is because usually Saturdays at this time, they're either running birthday parties down there at the Monster Factory or they're prepping for one of their cards. So far be it for me to take them away from that deep preparation.
That's very true.
By having them there. So if you want to hear guys from the Monster Factory, that's where you tune into Completely Damaged Radio on Mondays from 11 to noon.
Actually, they just released a new thing of Monster Factory Radio on Facebook or YouTube, if you look it up.
Montco Radio, where music and minds meet. Thank you for interrupting.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, mercy.
Speaking of which, Miz and Mizdow lost the tag titles on Monday night. That was a...
They did, and then they lost to the Ascension.
I just want the feud between Miz and Sandow to start.
You want the tag team breakup?
I just want Sandow to get, I know Sandow, even though he has the potential to be, they're not going to make him world champion. But I want him to at least be United States or Intercontinental champion.
I forget if we've had this discussion before on air or off air.
This was when we were...
Oh, it was off air. Okay. All right. Going back to Wrestle Kingdom, other names you'll note, Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Davey Richards? Or Isn't that what he goes?
Well, no. Davey Boy Smith Jr. is he was Harry Smith.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the British Bulldog's son.
Yeah,
He's part of the card. Lance Archer.
I got him and Davey Richards confused because I thought that was his name now.
Oh, no. Lance Archer used to be Lance Hoyt, and Shelton X. Benjamin is what he's going by now. But Shelton Benjamin, he's part of the
Bullet
card.
Club, or?
I don't believe so, but they're part of an 8-man tag match, the three of them.
Speaking of other wrestling promotions, and I know we're sort of running out of time here, but I wanted to bring up, I started watching that show, Lucha Underground. Yeah, it's in Spanish, so I can't understand what the devil they're saying, which is probably, I should have taken that high school Spanish class. But they actually have Vampiro on commentary, along with one of the guys that used to do Spanish commentary for WWE, but they have
I don't know, Hugo Savinovich maybe?
Yeah, that's who it was.
Oh.
John Morrison.
Bueno.
John Morrison, he is along with Ezekiel Jackson. And speaking of John Morrison, Pro Wrestling Syndicate Frozen Fallout. It will be John Morrison, I don't know what his name is now. I forget what his name is, but it will be John Morrison versus Sabu. We're going to that. It's with one of the Monster Factory wrestlers, Atu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, January 31st in Rahway, New Jersey.
There was a lot of points in a very short time span. It just went from a tangent to a tangent of a tangent of a tangent in like 3 seconds, and that I was trying to follow along.
Well,
I'm watching for the changes and trying to keep up.
John Hennigan versus Sabu in Pro Wrestling Syndicate's event, Frozen Fallout, January 31st in Rahway, New Jersey.
All right, we'll get more into that in the upcoming weeks because I know we're running low on time.
I should have talked to you about this before the show. I just thought I'd pimp it a little bit. Give them a shout out.
And you're learning that pimping ain't easy.
Yep.
Gimmicks galore. WWE announcing for the upcoming edition of Raw that Bray Wyatt will face Dean Ambrose, this time in an ambulance match.
First ever on Raw.
Why not?
Yes,
they've already had candy cane striped kendo sticks in their Miracle on 34th Street fight.
Well, ambulance matches are not really like...
I know. It's just there are a lot of gimmick matches between these two. I feel like they're burning them out.
I don't think so. They want to see... It doesn't matter the match. I just want to see Ambrose and Wyatt throw down and cut promos on each other.
Fair enough. Kevin Nash removed from advertising. No shock here. WWE has removed Kevin Nash from the talent lineup advertised for the January 19th Raw television event in Dallas, Texas. They previously announced that Nash, who was on a Legends deal, was suspended following his arrest Christmas Eve after that altercation with his 18-year-old son.
Could we see it's in Dallas, Texas? Could we see Austin make an appearance on Raw Reunion instead?
Well, I don't know. Right now, Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, and Scott Hall are advertised for the Raw Reunion event. And we got just enough time for, I know your favorite segment, birthdays.
Hooray! That was bad.
On this date, we're going way back. In 1929, Eric Tovey was born. The wrestler previously known as Lord Littlebrook turns 86 today.
I feel bad. I still don't know who you're talking about.
Okay, WrestleMania 3, he was in a 6-man, I guess you could say, mixed tag match. It was Hillbilly Jim and 2 little wrestlers against King Kong Bundy and 2 little wrestlers.
Oh, God. Was he one of the...
And Lord Littlebrook was one of... Lord Littlebrook.
Oh.
Yeah, so you had Lord Littlebrook and Little Tokyo teaming up with King Kong Bundy to take on Hillbilly Jim, the Haiti Kid, and Little Beaver.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a 6-man tag. That was... I don't know if it's politically correct to use the M word or not, so that's why I'm purposefully avoiding it.
Yeah.
But you get the idea. Anyway, happy 86th birthday to Lord Littlebrook. On this date in 1952, Jim Ross was born. The Hall of Fame play-by-play commentator turns 63 today, by God, and he's celebrating his birthday by going to Japan and doing play-by-play commentary for Wrestle Kingdom 9. How about that? And finally, on this date,
right there.
It is. And on this date in 1963, Jerome Young was born. The former 3-time ECW Tag Team Champion known as New Jack turns 52 today.
And that was the
Yeah, no, we can't get clearance for natural-born killers.
Well, you said on Thursday, I think, or... Yeah, well, we hung out on Thursday, right?
Yeah, something.
We tried to get. You were saying he was trying to get the instrumental for Natural Born Killers for that.
Well, we wouldn't have had time. We're already. We've got to make way for Nick Cataldi. He's got a little bit of country music, and then quarter after the hour, high school basketball action. Holy Ghost Prep at your team, your town, your Pennsbury Falcons.
Hail to the Falcons.
Okay, on that note, we're a bit late, folks. Good night.
Serving you better than ever before. This is 1490 WBCB Levittown.